Hey guys, so today we're doing another quick recipe that I like to make. Very simple. So what we're going to be making is homemade hamburgers. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need the meat, obviously. I like to get the big pack, so I make a lot of them. Then you need some breadcrumbs, and I get the Italian style seasoned ones, so they have like salt, pepper, and everything in there. Then you need 1 egg. You need some salt, because I always like to add a little bit extra, some black pepper, and some garlic. And you guys can add whatever you like in it. You're not forced to just using these ingredients. You can always switch it up and change it as you like. So first step is we're going to open the pack. Make sure your hands are washed. Mine are already washed. You're going to open the pack, and you got to get your hands dirty, and you got to put this on there. Now I'm saving a little bit of this meat for later, for tomorrow. I'm gonna make something else. So this is as much as I use. It's maybe 1.5 packs of the smaller ones and 75% of the big one. Okay, so what you do is you put the ground beef in a bowl, and like I said, if you want less ground beef, you just add less ingredients, and it doesn't really matter how much you add. At the end of the day, it's gonna come out good. So what you want to do is put the meat in a bowl, grab the egg, crack it, and crack it in the bowl, and you want to kind of like squish up the egg a bit. Okay, then you want to put the breadcrumbs in, and you just want to put enough to cover it, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like with the consistency. That looks good. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt. Now the breadcrumbs already have salt, but I tend to find that you always need to add extra. And I like adding garlic. It gives it just a nice little garlicky flavor. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it all together. So you just want to grab it with 2 hands, don't be scared. And you want to mix this really, really nice. So you want to get all the ingredients combined together. And what happens is the egg will make the burgers a little bit more juicy, and the breadcrumbs help stick it all together so it really stays together like a patty. Now you really don't have to add any of this. You can just cook the ground beef, but it's going to be very plain, and it's not really going to taste that good. So the more ingredients and the more pepper, salt, seasoning that you add, the more flavor that you're going to have. Okay, so once it's all mixed together, you'll notice that it's a nice consistency and you can't really see anything in the meat. So what I do is I get a plate and I make just little balls, and just so I know how much meat each patty is going to be, I make it as equal as I can see it, and then I'll add and take away meat if they're too big or too small. So now I have 2, 4, 6, but this one looks really big, so I'm going to take off this one, and I'm going to add it to a smaller one here. And it doesn't really matter, they can all be different sizes. So see how now they're all just similar size meatballs? So once they're like this, then what I do is I just squish them and put my thumb at the edge, and I just squish and push the edge. Squish, turn, and as I'm turning, I turn and I squish. Turn, squish, turn, squish, and then you have a patty. Now I don't really care how they look. I'm not one of those people that it has to be perfectly flat, but if you really wanted to, you could use a lid, like something like that, and squeeze it into the lid if you want it perfect. But because these are homemade, you want them to look homemade, you don't want them to look perfect. So I prefer doing it like that. Again, I'll do another one. It's easier when they're in a ball. You just squish it, keep your thumb up here, turn, squish, turn, squish. And that's number 2. And I make them about, I don't know, an inch thick. And if you want them thinner, like if you want them like a McDonald's type of burger, you can just squish them very, very thin if you want. They're always gonna shrink a little bit in the barbecue, or in the oven. So make them how you want. I like to make them squish them a little bit thinner, so that way that when they shrink, they're similar size. Okay guys, so they're all done. I made 6 burgers. These are really big, so if you, like I said, if you want to make them half the size and thin them out, you can have 2, or you can get 12 of them if you want. So now what I do is I preheat my barbecue, and I'm gonna cook it on there. I would say about 10 minutes, and you want to cook them to about 165, 170. That way it gets rid of all the bacteria. So some people like it well done, some people like it less done, like raw, but I prefer well done. Okay guys, so here's my barbecue, and what I want to let you know is I use Pam to grease the barbecue. It just makes it so the meat doesn't stick, and once it sticks, it's just a hard time. So if I were you, I would grease it, whether you use oil, put some oil on a Kleenex, on a paper towel, and just wipe it. That's probably the better way. It really just helps it not stick. Okay, so I have them here. We open it up, and we put them on. Sometimes they stick together. That's okay. 2, 3. Mine's an electric grill because I live in a condo building, but you're gonna probably come out better with a regular grill. So I put them on, and what I like to do is just add some salt to the top because it really mixes in with all those flavors, and kind of lose some of the saltiness and the flavor when I like to give you the first bite to be a nice bite. Then you leave it there and you let them cook for about, I would say, a good 5 minutes, and then we're gonna come back out and flip them. Okay, so they're looking great. You're gonna see the juice forming, and now what you're gonna do, it's been about 5 minutes. What you're gonna do is flip it. See those beautiful grill marks? That's what you want. That looks perfect. So you're gonna flip them all and maybe cook it for another 5 minutes until you see those grill marks like how they are on these. You want this side to look the same. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, I know since I've been doing these for a while, but when you're new at it, you're gonna get a thermometer. You can get these at Walmart for like $5, $10. You're gonna stick it into the center, and you're just gonna make sure that it gets to about 165 Fahrenheit. So these aren't quite done yet. Another five minutes and they should be done. So when it says 165, then you can take them out. Okay, so now what I like to do when there's about just 1 or 2 minutes left to cook these, I like to move them all over. And what I like to do is grab my buns and put them on here upside down and toast them. So I have 2 slices of American cheese, and I just like to put them on here to melt them. And we put it on whichever ones we're going to eat tonight. So they're there. And then we're going to close this for maybe 2 minutes and let the buns get nice and heated and the cheese melting, and we'll be right back. So it's been about 2 more minutes, and see how the cheese is nice and gooey and melted. Let's see how these buns are doing. Yep, they're looking good. So this is how they come out when you bring them in. Well, I put the cheese on the top, so don't put the top on. Just leave the top open before you put all your other stuff. So all I really like is onions, so you just put a nice onions in here. And I want some ketchup. Boom, like that. I have some baked potatoes that I cut up. Maybe I can show you guys another time how to make them. And that's it. Squish it down, and there's a homemade hamburger. So if you guys have any questions, please comment below. I have a lot of cool other videos that you might want to look at, and I'm going to be posting a lot more. We do just how-tos of random anything. So could be cooking, how to tie your shoes, everything and anything. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you have any questions or anything, I will answer everybody below. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.